Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. on this 23rd day of December. It is 48 hours away. The greatest day of the year. Oh, I
Mm,
love Christmas.
It is.
It is. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning. It's
Let it-
Christmas Eve.
Eve,
And
technically.
we do Christmas on Christmas Eve. So,
I know a lot of people who do. My family, we usually do it on Christmas Day.
well, we were
But
a broken home, so we had
yeah,
to worry about one
no,
kid
no, no.
being in
Trust me, I grew up in
this
a broken
house.
home as well.
So,
Figuring out what day to do everybody's Christmases is always a headache.
I'm looking
But
forward to tomorrow, which is our
yes,
Christmas.
100%.
But today we'll get into a lot of stuff, and I'll get through this part first. We'll have our buddy Andrew Boydston joining us at 7:30. A local teacher, a local comedian, and an all-around funny guy. And then at 8 o'clock, our boy 24KG will jump in to talk wrestling and any other events he's participating in. That is one of the busiest guys here in town.
Mhm.
And you can call or text in anytime at 661-842-2000.
Plenty to talk about in the world of wrestling.
But so I'm in a big league, a big fantasy league,
Oh, Lord.
and I was
I'm
playing
already out. I
my
lost
buddy
mine.
Fantasy Frank, which if you're a longtime listener of this station, you know who I'm talking about. And his team was pretty depleted. He had Mahomes and Tua, which were both out for the season going into this week. And he spent a bunch of salary cap money to get Gardner Minshew and Quinn Ewers. And of course, Minshew gets hurt early in the game. So I'm
It's
like,
true.
cool, I got this locked in. Well, my team just laid duds every position besides Jalen Hurts. Of course, St. Brown had 2 touchdowns, but both of them called back with
Yep.
penalties, and even one of them would have locked me in. So I'm looking at the game last night, which I tried to not watch as much because I didn't want to hesitate every time he got the ball.
Fair.
But I was up 17. I'm like, I got this. At halftime, he only had 8 points. I'm like, cool, as long as he doesn't fall into the end zone. And of course, he falls into the end zone. And I look at the score. We are tied to the points.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, all right, well, as long as he doesn't touch the ball the rest of the game, maybe he does and loses 2-3 yards, then I'll win. So Fantasy Frank texted me at about 9:30. He said, hey, good game. What's the tiebreaker? I said, I have no clue. I'm expecting the bench. Usually with
Is the
ties, it
tiebreaker,
goes
yeah.
to the bench. Well, in the playoffs, it goes to the highest seed.
Really?
So we had the same record.
That's unfortunate.
So he got the tiebreaker. So good for you, Fantasy Frank. And I wish you the very best. But that has how my fantasy football season ended. So I'm ready.
I'm sorry.
I'm ready for next season.
Well, you and me both. I also lost my fantasy playoffs last night, all because I decided to run with Josh Allen instead of Joe Burrow.
Me too.
Don't ask me why I thought Josh Allen was going to have a better day against the Cleveland Browns' number 2 ranked defense in the NFL. I have no idea what I was thinking.
I did the same thing.
I have no idea what I was thinking. I guess I was thinking the same thing I saw last week from the Cincinnati Bengals, which was Joe's not having fun playing football, which means Joe's not going to be throwing the ball very well. I also forget that the Miami defense, no offense, Sparky, has no way, shape, or form of a way to actually defend a running back at all in either the pass game or the run game. And so it is what it is.
I did the same thing. I had the same position. I went with Josh Allen over Burrow and Stafford.
Yep.
And both of them put up 40 burgers.
And of course, I sit there last night watching this game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Indianapolis Colts, which, can we all say we're ready to stop watching this Phillip Rivers thing?
Yeah, I think it's over.
Can we stop with the Phillip Rivers thing?
When was it?
Go back?
When was it, the pick six or?
No, mine was when he threw a duck trying to get it to Tyler Warren, which would have been a wide open touchdown and probably would have saved my damn season. Anyways, congratulations, Willie. Not that he's listening, but congratulations, Willie. good friend of mine beat me because he had Christian McCaffrey last night, of course, and I had Tyler Warren. Yeah. So,
And we'll have a Colts fan here.
oh, and
in here in a
100%. And
couple minutes.
apologies, Boydston, but you're going to get a bit of my wrath.
I'm sure he's feeling the same.
Watching that game last night, though, there were moments where I said, okay, Phillips still got it. I mean, in the first half, getting those 2 touchdowns to Alec Pierce, which were beautiful balls, it looked great. It looked like, okay, maybe he still got a little bit in him. Second half, though, really, actually, I can't even say second half. Second half of the second quarter into the rest of the game, so much so that they said, Riley, get in the dang ball game. We don't care if your knee's banged up. It's ugly for the Indianapolis Colts, and I hate to see it end this way, especially since the first half of the season, kind of like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you looked like a formidable team that was going to be making a run. And it's wild for me to say out loud that this entire season went to Daniel Jones. So if Indianapolis is smart, they're looking at whatever way they could keep Daniel Jones in Indy for the foreseeable future, and you're running this back. I don't care if he's got multiple leg injuries. I get it. You will find a way because I don't know what magic comes out of Daniel Jones when he plays for the Indianapolis Colts, but I assume it's going to continue for at least another year. But can we all just say that we're done with Phillip Rivers and this whole Phillip Rivers thing, whatever you want to call it, storyline, debacle? I personally call it a tragedy.
Yeah.
Because at this
The
point,
whole season really is a tragedy because it started so well.
and also I parrot what I said yesterday about the Baltimore Ravens. How do we have the best running back in the NFL and you're not getting him the ball? How? You have Jonathan Taylor. How are we not running the ball 40 times a game? He got stuffed the first 5. Okay. Figure out a way to get it to work. Run behind Nelson. I don't care. Get him the freaking football. Same with Tyler Warren. How are we absolutely wasting what was probably one of the most exciting rookie tight end starts to his career? And now because he lost Daniel Jones, he's looking worse than Colston Loveland. Like, how are we not getting the ball to Tyler Warren? It is baffling to me. But then again, I guess, just start this entire conversation with, I guess, the biggest problem, which is 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. The guy that everybody apparently thought still got it. He can still do it. No, I think half of you are on TV just really, 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 really wish that he did so you could say that you could do the same thing. But as I said a couple weeks ago, when you're off the field for so long, 4 or 5 years, I don't care if you're mentally still there. Physically, you're not. There's no way. Same thing can be said about Deshaun Watson. I don't think Deshaun's going to look like Deshaun if he ever plays football again. It doesn't matter. He has been off the field for years. You could say the thing about Colin Kaepernick. You could say the same thing about Cam Newton. All of these guys haven't seen an NFL field in years. Stop waiting for that opportunity. As much as we would all love to say that we would like to see some sort of crazy comeback story from one of you, it's not going to happen. It'll about happen as much as a non-Power 5 school team beating a Power 5 school team in the college football playoff, which we talked about yesterday. Very minuscule. So can we just stop, hit the pause button, and go find a quarterback that actually, might have the physical ability to do this? Because there's a ton of them out there that you guys are ignoring. So I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But the Colts season is over. It's done. Wrap it up, put a bow on it. I know they still technically have a chance.
Yeah, just as
but
like the
wrap it up,
Ravens,
put a bow
but
on
it's
it.
like a 2% chance.
Exactly. So it is what it is. Although one of the most interesting parts of week 16 to me, we came into this week with absolutely nobody locked in. We're leaving this week with every spot in both sides except for 2 on both sides locked in. So now there's only the 4 seeds in both leagues, or I'm sorry, in both conferences, and I believe the 7 seed that are up for grabs. This is going to be a very interesting next 2 weeks of football to see what happens here going forward.
Either way, we're going to get some good playoff football.
Oh, 110%.
We had a listener that was texting and was asking about the matchups, and I was that's what I was just doing. I was looking at it, and I was like, in the AFC, we'd have right now, if the playoffs started, we'd have the Patriots and the Texans, which would be a hell of a game. Jaguars and Bills, another hell of a game, and the Steelers and Chargers in the AFC, and then the NFC would be the Bears and the Packers, Eagles and Rams, Panthers and 49ers. All good games.
Bears and Packers, we've already seen how that's going to go both times. And honestly, if they can't get healthy over there in Green Bay, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off a game 3. But yeah, all the rest of them, I honestly would love to rather see the rematch between LA Chargers and Jacksonville Jaguars if that lines up perfectly. To be honest, I would love to see somehow both of these teams having to fight each other for the ability to move on in the playoffs.
I'd like to see the Patriots and Bills again.
I would too. And that is also a possibility going forward. And I state again, though, the two teams that we're not talking about because they don't have a matchup in round 1, if it does end today, would be Denver and Seattle. I don't know if you want that break. I really don't. I don't think that'll benefit Denver at all, especially losing. But I don't know. Maybe losing on Sunday was the pop in the mouth Denver needed to really put it together again. I just don't think that a young team who's offensively inconsistent is going to benefit from, 1, not knowing who you're playing for a whole week, and 2, taking a whole week off, even though, yeah, you can get the rest, of course, naturally. It causes a lot of rust. It really does. I need to look up the actual statistics of how often a first-round bye knocks out a top seed team, but I'd be willing to bet that it's more often than people think. So, I don't know. And Seattle's in the same boat. We don't know what we're going to get from Sam Darnold in the playoffs. We know Sam Darnold in the regular season. That's for dang sure. But if he has to play the Rams in the playoffs, we all know how that ends. So, I don't know if a first-round bye is good for either of those squads. And we talked about yesterday, it's not a lock-in for the Denver Broncos anyway, because not only can they lose it to the New England Patriots, they could lose it to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are absolutely on fire right now. Out of those 3, who do you think actually ends up with it?
I think Denver takes it, but I think Jacksonville is the most dangerous team right now in the AFC. I think the way the Jaguars are playing together right now, and I think just like anything we talk about with fantasy or NBA or baseball, it's really who's playing the hottest football at the right time.
Well, and Jacksonville has found a way to play not only hot on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side, they have been locked down. I mean, I talked about it a couple weeks ago when they played Indianapolis, but they haven't let up a rusher over 80 yards all season. And that includes Jonathan Taylor, who's the best running back in football. And I think is the only one who has gotten those numbers. I'm pretty sure he's the only one who's gotten close to 80, if not in the 80 range. So Jacksonville is figuring it out. And this is, again, another team that personally I did not think was going to be that guy. I didn't think that we were going to see this kind of a game or this kind of a team led by Liam Cohen, who, I don't know, maybe the Duval thing really just turned everybody off. I think if that really didn't happen, maybe we wouldn't be talking this way about him. But it is what it is. It's going to be a very, very, very entertaining week 17, starting on Christmas Day, where I believe you could hear all of these games right here on KGEO Sports Talk. I do not have the paper in front of me, though, so I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is as of right now. But it'll start in the morning when Dallas heads to Washington to take on the Commanders, and then we'll see Detroit head to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. And then at night, right there on Christmas night, you'll have Denver headed to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. 3 games that looked a lot better a week ago.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
And speaking of the Chiefs, some news came out yesterday that they are all set to move to a new stadium in 2031.
In Kansas.
And it's a dome.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. The dome part I'm not really excited about because we're moving away from the elements of football.
That was what I was thinking. I was like, but you think of Kansas City, you think of the snow games in December.
Right. And for those of you who are wondering, oh, how are they moving out of the state of Missouri? How are they moving away from Kansas City? Are they still going to be Kansas City? Yes. It's actually, there's not even leaving the city. It's actually, and I didn't even know this until yesterday, so I'm not going to act like I'm smart in this area, but Kansas City, for those of you who don't know, is actually right on the border of Missouri and Kansas. All they're doing is hopping the border. So they're still going to be in Kansas City. It's just going to be on the other side. I just I like you, Sparky. I don't like the idea that we're moving towards domes everywhere. I get why you want a dome because obviously it's easier to maintain because you don't have to worry about the elements so much. But like, are we all just going to start playing in a dome outside of maybe Lambeau and Denver? I really don't understand why everybody's moving away from the elements. It's not like that has stopped the Kansas City Chiefs from being successful the last 10 years. So I'm not 100% sure. Now, the one that still baffles me is the one we talked about yesterday, Chicago wanting to leave for Gary, Indiana.
That one,
Really?
that one's gonna be it. That one would be strange, and we'll
Ha,
have bets in tomorrow from Chicago. But we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we finally got the suspension for DK, 2 games.
I mean, is anybody surprised?
Not really.
In your past of hot headedness, being just dumb on the sidelines, especially at the worst possible times, I knew it was going to be more than a game. You can't just give him a game. A game's not enough of a punishment
You can't be
anymore.
swinging on fans no matter
No.
what. And the fan came out with his attorney saying he never said any racial slur. He asked for an autograph, and they showed some video, which you can't really hear anything. I wouldn't take it either side because I wasn't there. But either way, you can't swing on a fan,
No.
and he'll get his 2 game suspension. He'll be ready for the playoffs. And another one was the Chargers Denzel Perryman suspended 2 games to wrap up the regular season for an illegal hit.
Honestly, well, that one shocks me a little bit more than anything, but they do cite that he's had a handful of these the last couple seasons. So this is more of a, hey, dummy, we've told you to stop doing that and you're not stopping. So Denzel is a fantastic linebacker too, and they are going to need him on the field for the Chargers to be successful. Luckily for them, it's not going to be stretching into the playoffs. Again, the only one that I'm sitting here waiting on that we still haven't gotten anything about is that ending of the Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles game, which I guess the NFL is just going to ignore and not put up there. I have no idea. I really don't get why we're not getting some sort of answer about this. But I guess maybe maybe the league officials looked over the the video and just said maybe we don't really fault anybody for this. I I don't know. It's weird. It's weird the protection of certain people with the non-protection of others in the NFL, and it I could not begin to explain the ins and outs of what I don't like about it. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple days. Potentially, maybe some suspensions handed down today, at least for a game. I would assume.
I would expect at least some big fines, maybe. I
Maybe.
don't know if the suspension because there was a long list of players, but hey, we've seen crazier things, and
Well,
I would expect when you're throwing punches.
look at this. One team has nothing to play for, and the other team, well, suspending them now doesn't matter because they already wrapped up the season. So, but I think that's more what it is. I think the league's probably just sitting there saying you're both lucky that nothing matters, no matter which way we go on this. Let's take a break real quick. I know we got guests coming up. I do want to get into this a little bit though, since I am a USC fan and I'm very, very disappointed. USC and Notre Dame is putting their long historical rivalry on hold for next season and potentially seasons to come. All because, in my opinion, Notre Dame is dumb. But I'm sure USC has just as much to do with this as well. So we'll get into that on the other side. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back and good morning. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Sparky tries to wake you up on this Christmas week. Hopefully, you guys aren't working. I know a lot of people are and a lot of people aren't. So, at this point, though, I got to get this out of the way before we get to our first guest of the day, Mr. Boydston. There was an announcement yesterday out of the realm of USC and Notre Dame that they will be putting their historic rivalry on hold. This thing has been going since 1926.
Yeah, so it was like 70 something years.
1926. And Notre Dame wants to rather play BYU than USC. And I get it. Okay, fine. BYU and you both got absolutely screwed out of the college football playoff. So why not play each other? Except, you could have had that opportunity a bowl game this year, but hey, you decided
to play.
Yeah, you decided to, scrunch up your little hands and say, "Nah, we're the Irish. We play who we want to play," and walk away. Big babies. But it is what it is. Power 4 teams, I get it. They just and a lot of this does stem from USC wanting to play this early in the season rather than in October, because October obviously is where Big Ten really ramps up and they have to play teams like Ohio State every year and Indiana now and all these other schools. But, Notre Dame needs to be in the middle of October. There are things in college football that you just don't mess with. Okay. Rivalries are one of them. USC has 2 major rivalries, UCLA and Notre Dame. Now, UCLA is never really a threat, even with Nico Iamaleava, who is staying at UCLA, from what we understand. That's what he says. So, we all know how that goes, though, with the Iamaleava camp. So we'll see here in about a month when things start opening up, and maybe he'll sit there and say, "I want to go play at LSU. That's where all the money is." Anywho, but the other one obviously being Notre Dame, and we already talked about this. It was going on, what is this now? Almost 100 years? Would have been 100 years. Last time we played these guys was 2022. And we've talked about Notre Dame and their biggest issue not being in a conference is you don't play anybody, dude. You keep picking up these games where they're not competitive. And I don't understand why moving away from big rivalry games like this, which honestly, the USC Notre Dame game this year is really what gave them a fighting shot to get into the playoffs in the first place. But you're just going to wipe all that away, wipe all the tradition and history away. And I mean, they've already came out and announced that they're going to be doing everything they can to keep the rivalry going and the Shamrock going in every other sport. Let's be honest, man, it's not the same. It's not. It's college football. College football is king. And to remove this game, in my opinion, is just ridiculous. But it is what it is. Notre Dame wants to continue playing easy teams and, go about it the way they want to go about it and then cry next year when they're not even in contention for the college football playoff again. Then so be it.
We had to call our buddy because Renegade Rob Chavez is on the line, a big USC fan.
I needed to hear from somebody else as well.
His Rob, 2 cents.
Rob, do you agree with me? This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I texted you guys yesterday and I was like, there is one thing I want to get off my chest, because this is kind of the reason why Kenny and I, even though, we're taking a look at college football, we've been watching the playoff and all that stuff, but we enjoy junior college football because, it's still, I think, the safe haven for guys that are going and playing for the right reasons, that sort of thing. Right now, what's happening with USC Notre Dame is, you can point blame at both sides.
You could.
Yes, I'm always going to be very critical of the Irish. I always have been. My entire family roots for the Irish. Save my brother, a couple of buddies of mine, and my dad. The thing about this is, both of these sides have been playing it, like a business, as if they have been competing for a national championship over the last 25 years, and really, if you break it down, since Pete Carroll has left, USC and Notre Dame together have maybe threatened for the national championship once. I mean, last year, good job Notre Dame for being the little engine that could. And really, the only time in which they were a real threat was when they had Manti Te'o.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, USC, they don't necessarily have a whole lot of leverage in this situation. It's not. I mean, you said it earlier. Yeah, they're going to be playing some big games in the Big Ten. But when you really break it down, I mean, what are they, the fifth best team right now in the Big Ten? And, nobody's necessarily shaking in their boots going and facing a Lincoln Riley team who, to be quite honest with you, in the last 5 big games that he's coached, his defenses have given up over 250 points.
Right.
Yeah, and this is what's bothered me about Lincoln Riley is that they've had this air about them as if they are already contenders for the national championship. And really, it's been a disappointment since he's been there. And the whole thing with all these different ADs, there's no sitting president there right now. They were toying with this as if they were going to get Notre Dame to blink, and they didn't. And, who knows? Marcus, we were talking the last time I was on the show, we were trying to take bets as to who might end up being the new New York Giants coach next year. Heck, it could be Marcus Freeman. This guy could be gone, yet he's already made a deal to get rid of 100-year tradition overnight. So I just think to myself, already the players that are there at SC don't necessarily know the rivalry that is USC Notre Dame because, a lot of times these guys are only there for a couple of years. They're not brought in when they're freshmen to go see the USC Notre Dame rivalry in its place. And I mean, Keyshawn Johnson said it really well yesterday. He said, it's hard to support this program right now. And, so I'm kind of looking inwardly. I could shoot slings and arrows at Notre Dame all day long. Yeah. And what you said was exactly correct. They need to beef up their schedule. And, to be quite honest with you, ESPN is going to continue to do the same thing to them every year if they're going to continue to put cupcakes on their schedule.
No, and that's why I feel like that. And you're right. I do have the USC bias 100%, but it's more of, I see the problem being Notre Dame just doesn't want to put these big games where they should be. I mean, you have to understand that not everybody can lean towards the schedule that you want. I realize this game has traditionally been in October, but you also have to realize USC is in a conference where it ramps up very much so late in the season like that. And they're not going to choose to play you over a conference game against Oregon or Indiana or Ohio State. It's just not going to work that way.
100%. And the thing is that Lincoln Riley did have the idea that, hey, look, let's do it early in the season because that may not necessarily hurt us when it comes to rankings time mid-October. And you would thought that Notre Dame would say, this is probably a good idea. Let's at least give this a shot. And we need to get some power teams on our schedule. Playing the ACC isn't doing it for us. And jumping on, getting Stanford as one of the late games as well too. That's not doing it for us. So why not play this thing at the beginning of the year? I compare it to this. And I'm glad that the powers that be at the Kern High School District, whether it was East High or Highland, for a couple of years, we lost East High and Highland. And besides that COVID year, they had played 49 straight games until COVID. And then once we were out of the pandemic, East and Highland played one more year. And because they were no longer in the same league, East High and Highland weren't playing anymore. And they tried to come together to put together a game, and they just couldn't fit in their schedule. But once they finally did, they made it the first game every year now. East and Highland play the first game of the season against each other because they're not in the same league. And I think that that's a perfect way to kick off your season. If you're Notre Dame or USC, might as well, pack the Coliseum, pack Notre Dame Stadium, and not have to worry about, shoveling snow out of the way in October or being freezing cold. You get more people to travel there as as Notre Dame fans. And then, of course, at the beginning of the year, I mean, who wouldn't want to be in beautiful Southern California tailgating down there for the first game of the season?
No, 100%. And then it just like you said, when it came to the East High Highland situation, where does the historical relevance really come down into all this? Because that's
100%.
it,
That's the whole reason you keep it.
We would never say that we'll never want to see Ohio State and Michigan play in a season. You know what I mean? And this is kind
That'll
of
never happen. Yeah, that would never happen. I mean, imagine saying, Army Navy, we're not going to play
Exactly.
Army Navy anymore in
Exactly.
December. And that was the one. That was the one tradition that USC was really hanging on to. Like you said, they're going to play UCLA every single year.
Yes.
That's just because that they're on their schedule. But they're going to lose at Notre Dame, and that's going to turn a lot of people off. And I'm fearful for how that's going to come back. Yeah, they say it's going to come back in 2030, but who knows? Yeah, there's going to be probably a whole new set of people making decisions by that point. And
true.
Over 4 years, the issue gets stale, and and are they going to bring it back? Who knows? So I'm not. I'm a little disappointed because the next year was when I was wanting to go possibly to South Bend to go watch the game, but I guess not now.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I don't know. It just seems so ridiculous that we're really even considering getting rid of a rivalry that was coming up on 100 years. Like, it may not have been 100 games played, but it was definitely 100 years strong, and arguably one of the best college football rivalries in the entire country. So I don't get it, but it is what it is. And like you said, we're just gonna have to live with it and hope and pray in 2030 they bring it back. So, my friend, we do have to take a break, though. We have a guest on the other side. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. We'll talk some BC football.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Not a problem. We got to take a break. Our guy Andrew Boydston is in the building, so we'll get to him on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Big thanks to Rob Chavez for coming in and, highlighting all the things about USC that I cannot, because my bias is seemingly far, far stronger than Mr. Chavez. But he is absolutely correct. This is a situation that is just issues on both sides. So both of these teams deserve some sort of part of the blame for the end of that historic streak. But our historic streak continues with fantastic comedians. And Andrew Boydston is back in studio with us. Sir, how are you?
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
Good to see
Mr.
you
Boydston.
again.
Yeah.
Everybody's
How's the
favorite
holiday
teacher.
break? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. How's the break?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a break.
It's a break.
Score.
I had, you have some kids like
See-
come up to you and talk to you like right before break, right?
Uh-huh.
Because they're like all of a sudden in that 1 week they would just want to speed run their grade.
Mhm.
Like you want to speed run a video game like for Twitch streams. And so they'll look at you and they're just like instant gratification's all a part of life now. And they look at me and when a kid had like, and my class is designed to, like, I do not give zeros.
Mhm.
I start you off at 50%. So you only have to earn 10% to get to a D, right?
Okay.
This kid has a D minus, which means he is doing nothing at all. And he comes up to me and he just goes, how do I fix my grade? Or what can I do to raise my grade? And I said, perfect time travel and act right 2 months ago. That's it. Like, what are you talking to me about right now?
Oh my god.
And they I told them like before they left, because everybody's on the same edge,
Yes,
we're all
yeah.
on the razor's edge. It was like a balloon ready to pop like on that last day. And it was a short day. So you're just like, please just get through this without like any major crash outs, blow ups, like 6, 7, 50 times, like
Oh,
whatever,
8, 9,
dude.
Just hit them with the 8, 9. They'll stop doing it real
Well,
quick.
I'm gonna hit. Life's gonna hit them with the 9 to 5.
Yeah, it
is
is.
what's gonna happen.
What it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not gonna find numbers funny anymore whenever the numbers start to affect them.
Exactly.
I just can't. So I have to highlight something though, because if parents are listening, if you learn one thing on this show, you learn that your kids are hellions. Because now we've had a school bus driver yesterday talk about how his entire
Bobby was here.
Yeah, Bobby was here and
love Bobby.
talked about how his entire just lineup of jokes are pretty much all about the kids on the bus, and now
Yeah.
we're hearing it on the teacher side too. So parenting should be the lesson.
Like that's one thing I love is just going on like news sites and stuff, and they're sitting there saying like, it's what the big problem is a bunch of teachers are trying to indoctrinate our kids and they're doing all this and that. And I was like, bro, I'm just trying to teach them history. Like, so they don't repeat mistakes. Like, that's it. That's all. And you know what? I am not the one to blame.
No.
Okay. No, I have your kid for 1 hour. What are you doing with the rest of that time outside of school?
This is true.
Dude, like, take the iPad out of their hand, make them touch grass. Like,
Right?
it's like,
Drink out of the hose.
Yeah, go play some football. Let's see something
I told
happen.
my son he's been sick and he shook it off. He came home yesterday. He's sick again. Like, go outside, man. Get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got a basketball.
yeah.
Go out there and shoot some hoops. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
I don't think so. My body hurts. Maybe you need to run a lap.
Yeah,
brother.
dude.
I'm just saying.
Man.
When I was sick, my mom said, shake it off and go to school.
Yep.
You're not getting out of school for that.
It's like, great, go get your friends sick too, because
And-
you ain't gonna stay home.
You already
And-
got your parents sick.
Exactly, you ain't gonna stay home.
And before, you guys get like all the hate mail in the world from the world
It is
about
what
this.
it
No,
is.
I just want to let people know, like, if you're the one who is hearing this and getting offended, it's probably you.
Yep. Yep.
There's a bunch of people who will not write in
There's
because
a
they'll be like, well,
reason.
I'm raising them right. Like,
Man.
I'm doing fine.
There is a reason why I chose this line of work and not teaching with the rest of my family.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with what I had to go through as a coach.
Yeah.
A lot of it had
Yeah.
to do with that.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I saw it as a coach and felt the way that some of these parents, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like if I had to deal with that for an 8-hour day, nope, I'm good. You guys are the real heroes of life.
What is the positive side of
Yes.
teaching then?
Oh, a positive side of teaching is just like seeing a kid like whenever I was a support to English teacher, right? When I was teaching kids who, had a 3rd grade reading level to, like a 5th grade reading level. And I was teaching 7th grade,
Yeah.
right? And that's 7th graders with these reading levels. To see them raise that, to see a kid learn to love to read, like because you put a good book in their hand. That's a big problem. Like a lot of kids don't want to read what you have. So like I did donations, to my library, and I ended up getting like all these different mangas and like graphic novels and stuff that they wanted to read. And all of a sudden they had an interest, right? Like, and that was a big thing for me growing up, was I was made fun of for being like a slow reader or something like that. And my friends would make fun of me. And then eventually in high school, my English teacher pulled me off to the side and was like, why do you just let them get away with that? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, they're making fun of you like constantly, and they're not good readers. You're a good reader. And I was like, what are you talking about? She shows like their test grades next to mine. They have like C minuses on every test because I wasn't a slow reader. I was building the movie in my head,
Right on.
and that's what you got to teach kids. It's like, not everything is about instant gratification. Not everything, like you have to like build to things. You've
good
got
stuff coming sometime.
like I was talking with my gal yesterday. I said, everybody loves it whenever they earn something.
Yes.
Like whenever you earn something, it feels good, right? And whenever a kid will advocate for himself because he was shy at the beginning of the school year, that's a beautiful thing. Getting to share who your personal experiences and actually teach them a life lesson through what you've learned, hoping that they won't make that mistake, or hoping that they will realize that there is brighter days ahead and stuff like that. I work at a place where a lot of our kids are like disadvantaged socioeconomically. Whenever I get them to care about what I'm teaching, that's a big victory. And it happens more often than not. But, like the way I phrase it is, in Taft, whenever I was growing up, you had maybe like 1 or 2 class clowns per period. Like now there's a clown
15.
car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I'm a comedian, so I'm just sitting there being like, oh, here's that attention you just ordered, like I just gotta like get in, and sometimes they'll try to make fun of me and I just like fire right back.
Right.
It's like you have, it's like Lord of the Rings, you have no power here.
Have you, because that's another question that popped up in my head, as a comedian as well as a teacher.
Yeah.
Have you inspired any of the kids to kind of try to be a comic at some point? Or like, obviously not in your classroom.
Yeah.
But like, have they come to you and said, you know what, I want to do what you do?
I think I actually discouraged a kid whenever I was a sub one time, which is the opposite, because he's sitting there, like their view of comedy is so pure and beautiful. They're like, I'm going to be Kevin Hart. It's like, nah.
It's like,
No,
don't shoot for that.
No, man, you're going to be grateful to get like an entree and do like 30 minutes. Oh man, one day that's the dream, is like a bar tab, a sandwich, and a bunch of laughs to people who actually paid to see
side
you.
of comedy.
Hey, no, I didn't, because it was a career day project, and he was like sitting there doing research, right? They had to like research on things, and it said, like a comedian is like their average salary is 50,000, and I was like, that's extrapolated over everything, right? That's not the people who work another job that are saying like, I do comedy also,
right.
Like that's, the people who have made it have exceeded expectations. And then I like started running it down with them, like about how much work it would be, how they've got to learn how to read, how they got to learn how to write better. They got to like, practice those things. And he's just like, nah, I'll just be a cop. And then he just like goes and opens a new tab. So
the world definitely needs cops right now. Yeah. So that is a fantastic career choice. My God, man. That's awesome. Okay, so obviously we talked about it in between the break and whatnot, but we have to get to the game last night.
Of course.
You're an Indianapolis Colts fan.
I am a Colts fan. And man, are they making me earn it.
Well, you're amongst the right people.
Yeah.
We're all gluttons for punishment here. Falcons fan, Dolphins fan.
Yes.
How do you feel this entire Phillip Rivers thing has worked out for you guys so far?
I mean, like, props to him, dude. 44 years old. 5 years out of the league, and you just come in and on prime time, I half expected like a 3 interception game or something of that nature, right? But then I realized something that's different between Phillip Rivers and like any quarterback right now, and that is a dude who is a maestro at the line, a dude who does all of the little things, makes dummy calls. He's sitting there working things, like he's sitting there like, get 20. It has nothing to do with 20. He's looking like he's going to run block. And then all of a sudden he just launches a dime into the end zone for Alec Pierce. So, I think what I've seen, I'm impressed. It has gone completely opposite of how I thought it would. I did not want to see this man tarnish a already pristine career. You know how hard he worked in San Diego and everything else, and then he played for us also. But like honestly, I'm over the moon for his performance. Now, if we want to talk about defense, on the other hand, I mean, just
Nowhere to be found.
throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. That is it. Like, you didn't do anything to help a 44-year-old. It was like a Disney movie that didn't end well. You know, like it was such a bummer.
I mean, but moving forward, I mean,
Oh.
do you expect the Colts to go hard to get Daniel Jones again back next year? Or you think maybe a younger quarterback, or is there something that or someone that you see that maybe it'd be a better fit next year?
You know, I think Daniel Jones showed everything he needed to say he still can sling it in this league. And again, I also think he's impressive because he was offering to play DB.
Yeah,
You know,
at one point.
at one point he was like, just get me on the field.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think that was the success story for him, was what happened this season. Now, granted, it ended in a way that's going to be very, very, very hard to bounce back from next season because you got injuries in both legs.
Yeah.
But I said at the top of the show, I think you guys got to find a way to keep him on that roster and just run it back, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then you can find a quarterback that kind of fit the same style and maybe just try to redo it with him. Because something happened when they got Phillip Rivers in on this team, and Shane Steichen just said, oh, we can go back to the old days and just sling it.
Yeah.
And they completely have left Jonathan Taylor out of the offense at certain times. I don't understand why that's the case.
I'll never understand how do you forget? Like, do you see what the 49ers do? The offense runs through Christian McCaffrey.
It should have been the exact same thing for you guys.
The dude was a top 5 receiver.
Yeah.
As a running back. And I know JT doesn't have like that great of hands, you know, but he can still catch
He's still
it in space.
dynamic.
No, he is. He wasn't known for that in college though, right?
No.
Like, that was always his big knock, was like, oh, you know, like on a third down where you need to air the ball out to the running back, he's not going to be there.
See, but Derek gets the same hate, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
It's like, if you get him the ball in a screenplay, I don't know a lot of corners that are going to want to tackle that guy.
Dude, he just looks like he's ready to play ball like in the gates,
right?
You know, like,
and don't get me wrong,
he catches the ball like out here and brings it in.
And I know Rivers is doing everything he can to get him the ball in the pass game.
Yeah.
But how are we not handing the ball off to Jonathan Taylor and, like you said, just running the offense strictly through him?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You're on your 4th quarterback? Like, why are you running the offense through him in the first place, a 44-year-old who hasn't been on the field in 5 years?
Yeah.
It's like, you should never have had the idea of, oh, we're just going to drop back and sling it.
Yeah.
It should never have even been a topic of conversation.
No, and I felt like that's where the game got away from us last night, was just not doing the little things like getting it to Taylor's hands.
Right.
And whether that's in space or whether that's on a toss, whether it's a direct handoff, you know, like he's just like, I'm going to hand it off to my tight end on a sweep.
And it's not even the right tight end.
Yeah.
It's a Tyler Warren.
What, dude, again, and that's another thing, right? Like, Tyler Warren was white hot at the beginning of this season. Like, he was just fun to watch.
I lost my fantasy playoffs because the boy couldn't get the dang ball yesterday.
Bro, I was battling.
It's been like a month.
I know. Trust me. I know.
Dude, yeah. But you're sitting there just like, fire up the engine, please. Like, fire up the engine.
They said it last night. It's like, oh, would love to get him hot. Yes, you would.
Yes, you would.
Oh my God. But yeah, so with the last couple games of the season, I know you guys are technically still in it, but very, very unlikely.
Thin margin.
Do you see you guys playing maybe bracket buster for either the Texans or the Jaguars, though, with these last 2 games being lined up that way?
Hold on, if I may, I'm just going to look into the camera right now and pretend I'm talking to the Colts in the locker room right now.
Yes, give us a motivational speech.
If you can somehow not just get in the playoffs, but if you can beat the next 2 teams, like, we can forget yesterday. We can forget last night. Everybody can keep their job. You can come back next year.
Dang, Steichen's already fired.
No. I'm not talking about Steichen. I'm talking about the defense. The defense.
True.
But hey, do us a favor and help out Unc, man. Help out Uncle Rivers. If a 44-year-old is gonna like throw it
Man,
and do that for us, come on, man.
at this point, you guys should have just signed Matt Ryan and said, "Hey, how about you get a shot too? Might as well." I don't know. I have not been a huge proponent of this whole Phillip Rivers thing, though.
I understand, but at the same time, like, give the man his flowers.
Yeah, he knows
He's
offense. He's worked with the guys before. I get it. You know, at the last minute, your quarterback goes down, and there's news that Anthony Richardson could be playing this next week. So who knows? But I have to give him flowers because a guy coming off after a 5-year break, I mean, he looked better than what a lot of players would look at.
Fair. That's
I
absolutely fair.
I think between the ears services him so well.
Oh,
Like
100%.
and like they call it what is it, the shoulders up, right?
Yeah.
The shoulders up game, like he's got it. I will say though, it was really sad to see him like suffer that dad injury, like fall against the Seattle Seahawks. That was tough to watch. I was like, that's what everybody wanted to make fun of right
Yeah.
there, and I'm so sad. It's so sad.
Well, again, I give him kudos for at least being able to put it together on the field. And you're right. For 2 quarters, he looked great. But I was looking at you guys a couple weeks ago as a potential favorite in the AFC. And what I see right now, I'm just incredibly disappointed.
Hey man, that's Colts football.
Nah. Well,
Oh, one last thing. And
Yes.
I just want to say that I
Uh-oh.
saw this and
Uh-oh.
it blew my mind, but it also makes sense.
he's got 30 seconds.
Colts might be the unluckiest team in the NFL. There have been 16 games across the league since Indy's bye where the result could have helped increase their playoff chances. All 16, all of them
They've lost.
did not go the right way.
Oh, Lord.
Half of which were underdogs winning.
Oh.
And that's Colts football. All
Yes,
the
it
horseshoe,
is.
none of the luck.
My God. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate your time. We got to take a break. KG on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special. Welcome back. Early Bird Special Hour 2 right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are working on getting our guy 24 kg in here. We're having some technical issues as we normally do around holiday season for some reason. Apparently, I have to send a strongly worded email. Highly doubt that I'll actually be capable, but thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our guests so far, Mr. Rob Chavez and Mr. Andrew Boydston, the very funny Andrew Boydston. I love his optimism for his team. I do. And honestly, I do not I don't fault him at all. He's absolutely correct when it comes to the defense of the Indianapolis Colts. They had let up way too much yesterday, but you're also playing Christian McCaffrey. I mean, they did pretty dang well a good portion of the game, but you can only hold that man down for so long, if I'm being completely honest. And I mean, I don't know if you saw anything spark outside of that, but it's one of those things, at least in my opinion, where it, when you're playing a guy like this who, like Andrew said, top 5 running back, let alone a top 5 wide receiver at the position. I mean, it's almost impossible to really not get the ball to this guy. I think they said last night the ball runs through Christian about 80% of the time, 82% of the time. That's absurd. I mean, those are absurd numbers for anybody.
I think the offense would look a lot better if the defense stood up.
True.
I mean, we deal with our own teams, and I think just like Boydson says, he's a fan of a team just like ours, and we back our team, but you really find the holes in the team. And I mean, Rivers came out, looked like he was going to put up some points last night. And I mean, the first 2 drives with 2 touchdowns with Pierce, I mean, you can't win games if your defense can't stop the damn ball.
Right.
I mean, Purdy looked like a Pro Bowler last night. And I mean, it runs through McCaffrey as well, but it's a guy that just came on, less than a month ago, came in and he's doing the best what he can. I wasn't expecting much of Phillip Rivers, so he's played better than I expected.
Yes,
but it's a team sport. So I mean, if your offense, whether it was Jonathan Taylor or Phillip Rivers or any of the other stars on the offensive side, if the defense can't stop the other team, it's going to be a long night.
It really is. And honestly, the success for the 49ers, I think, could be attributed to the 3-headed monster they talked about ad nauseum last night, which is Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. If you have those 3 on the field and healthy, it's hard to beat the 49ers, no matter who else is injured or playing or not playing. It doesn't matter. And their defense, really, although having I would say pretty bad year for them historically, still at times when they absolutely need to step up and make those big plays to get those 4th downs and the ball back to their offense. So I think the 49ers have just found a way to rally regardless of who gets injured, especially throughout the last couple of years of just being injury riddled and being just the most bit by the injury bug I think any other team can say. And at the end of it all, it is going to lead them at least to another playoff berth. Whether they can sneak away that NFC West title, I believe, is still up in the air. They have 2 games left, and I think a lot of things need to go their way in order for it not to go to Seattle or LA. But the 49ers could potentially be that NFC West champion still this year. It's going to be an interesting story if they can continue having this success through the playoffs, because if they say make it to the Super Bowl, are we really going to I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it that way. Do we put Brock Purdy in that top tier quarterback area? Because every time this guy's on the field, true, they had success with Mac Jones at certain parts of this year. The offense still didn't look as seamless as it does when Brock Purdy is at the quarterback position. We saw it last night, 5 touchdowns for the young man. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I've seen Brock play better or more confident.
Yeah, it's the best I've seen him.
So it is at a point now where if he can lead this team to a Super Bowl again, I think you have to put him in that top tier quarterback category. And he'd be jumping over guys like Justin Herbert. He'd be jumping over guys like Dak Prescott, in my opinion. He'd be jumping over a lot of guys that are also worthy of being in that contendership. But when it comes to being maybe the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. If he can have success in the playoffs this year and run it, especially taking out maybe the Seattle Seahawks on the way there, or even the LA Rams on the way there, it'd be hard to really argue that this guy isn't potentially in that tier, or at least working his way up there. So there's a lot of attention that the 49ers are going to be garnering here in the next few weeks, rightfully so. Can the defense hold up and actually be a playoff stout defense without Fred Warner, without guys like Bosa? It's going to be really, really, really tough. But they've shown at least that they could take on certain teams and be competent. So I think that's going to be a great sign going forward. I know we're still waiting on our guy KG talk a little bit of wrestling. I don't know if you got to watch a little bit last night of that Raw, but it was pretty dang entertaining to see Austin Theory back in a ring. And I'm very excited to see where this entire new persona for him takes him, because this is something that I've been kind of waiting for this kid for a long time. They needed something outside of the goofball realm, I should say, for Austin Theory.
That's the first time I've seen him in a ring where he wasn't
right,
kind of a clown, goofy guy. And I mean, he's got the moves. I'm still on the fence on how this whole vision thing is going to work out. I don't know how Seth is. If it's, I know you guys brought it up last week, and I'm kind of waiting on that, because I've seen Seth. Seth was at the Bears game slinging his arms around like he wasn't injured. So I'm like, he's coming soon.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just wondering what type of, if he's going to have his own vision that's going to go up against him, or I'm still waiting to see Paul Heyman and him choose a different direction and who's coming with him.
So I am glad you said that, because I personally only see this going that route. I believe that Austin Theory more than likely is a sleeper agent for Seth Rollins and his new vision. Because if you look at the getup that he is now rocking with, the pants, very, very Shield-like, very just combat ready. Obviously, he's using the stomp now. That is a nod to most likely his leader, which will be Seth Rollins. Now, who is with him in this vision? Maybe it is the Prophets. I mean, there is contract disputes right now between the Prophets and the WWE, leading to a lot of rumors that they might be on their way out. But maybe they're just in the middle of figuring all of that out and setting up this storyline. Every faction needs a tag team, and what better tag team to fit with a very vocal leader, very outlandish leader than Seth Rollins and then the Street Profits.
I like to see him with Mello.
I would too. I've been calling for that for a while, but I think they have something brewing with Mello coming up here. And Mello will most likely have a title shot at that U.S. title here this week, which I'm excited to see what goes on for that. His former protege as well, Trick Williams, looks like he will be on the way up and making his way to the main roster finally, which would be fantastic to see and a lot of fun if we can get that going early. But at this point, I just am very, very curious how all of this vision idea is going to be brewing. Does Austin Theory cost Braun Breaker on the 6th when he finally gets a shot at the title? And you keep seeing, I had somebody highlight this to me yesterday, but I didn't really notice it until I was really paying attention after it was brought to my attention. Does anybody else notice that Braun Breaker gets visibly upset every time Paul Heyman tries to make a plan? Like visibly upset. Yeah. And when it's explained to him, he doesn't like the plan ever. This isn't going to end well.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while.
I think you're right. I think you've been calling it for a long time, but I don't know how long they're going to keep them together.
Yeah.
Just solely because of that.
I think you just hit it right on the dot, because I think if they choke and they cause the reason that Braun doesn't win this title, which I don't think he's going to win it the first round, but that would only stir up the issue. Maybe that's when we see Seth. Maybe that's when the whole thing happens. But it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
And I was going to wait. Oh, I think this is him right now.
Is that him? Are we calling him in? We might as well just to get this, because I don't know if the video is going to be working very well. But I'm not 100% on where you were going with it, my friend.
No, I was going to say, because that's the same thing. I was waiting on KG, because I see the same thing with the girls in with Liv and Raquel. in which we saw a little seasoning of that last night. But we got KG on the line now.
Sir, how are you?
Doing all right, man. You know, it's always something around the holidays with these technical difficulties, but we're going to get through it. We're going to make it work, baby.
Our phone works. Our phone works.
Yeah, our phone works now, so we could just call people again. That's always the fun part here in the radio biz. But we were just talking about this a little bit. Love to get your thoughts, but what were your thoughts on seeing Austin Theory back in the ring last night? And do you kind of, like I, enjoy this more bloodthirsty look at what the character could be?
Always seeing a refreshed character reprised or repackaged, I think over the years it's something we've gotten used to in WWE, especially when it comes to somebody with the talent potential of an Austin Theory. So seeing how his outfit was very a la Shield-esque or different iterations of Seth Rollins through his career, it takes you back to remember when he was one of the first disciples of the Monday Night Messiah when Seth Rollins was, really on his tyrannical raids and cult of personality, yes, using air quotes, like energy. And also take it back to when they brought in Buddy Murphy at the time for also being a disciple of Rollins. Now, to see this buzz cut, hard nose, even a change of style, the extra sprinkle of grit to his in-ring presence, I think it's just welcome to see. I think we're seeing what Austin Theory should have been previously. So before they, comicked him out and turned him into a joke with Grayson Waller.
And that was my issue. And that's what I was kind of highlighting, is that we're going to see a more driven version of Austin Theory. I do believe that he's going to be that sleeper agent or that backstabber essentially within the vision that's going to help Seth Rollins essentially just blow this whole thing up eventually. Who do you think is also going to be a part of this? The only ones that pop up into my head right now are the Street Profits. I know you've been talking about the Montez Ford connection potentially as the other masked man. And to be honest, I would love to see them work with a Seth Rollins and potentially bolster their careers, even if it is just for a short time and we finally see them go solo.
Oh, rightfully so. Whoever is affiliated with Seth, you almost have to look at, has a built-in rocket strapped to the back of their career.
Yes.
Right now, that same rub you could also say goes for whoever Paul Heyman affiliates with. It's the success by association type of situation right now, where WWE, especially last night with Monday Night Raw being pre-taped, you almost kind of got a premeditated notion of what they're really going for, and that's something that the fans have been complaining about a long time, and that's breaking new talent. You had Javon Evans basically give a debut match on what brand should sign him, so that would indicate he's not going to be in NXT too much longer, nor would I think he's winning that NXT title anytime soon.
No.
If he's speculated to be called up.
I genuinely believe they're going to call him up without winning that title, which is actually unprecedented for the brand. If you really watch the history and know the history, usually winning the NXT title is them telling you, hey, you're ready to go to the next level. We're just going to give you a short run with this first before we actually move on from everything. And I think they've really done that with Javon in different ways. I mean, putting him in the Last Time Is Now tournament, or having him take tag matches in certain PLEs. He's been down there in AAA working with people. I mean, I think they've really grown a liking to this kid and see him as a future workhorse in the entire company. That's why personally, I think that's going to be one of those guys that we talked about last week, or at least that I mentioned last week, with John Cena retiring and becoming an advocate. I think he's going to become an advocate for a lot of these wrestlers specifically. And I think Javon is going to be one of his first ones. I really do.
I really think Javon Evans is one of our future Intercontinental champs.
Oh, easily.
First year on the main roster.
Easily. I think it would, especially with the push that they've been giving a lot of these young guys with that kind of popularity, it would make a lot of sense. He may get gold before Oba. He may get gold before Oba does on the main roster. I genuinely believe that.
Possibly.
So shifting over a little bit before we move on to some of the talking points I need to get to with you on. Sparky's already mentioned it right before we pulled you in, but Judgment Day is having their issues within, and that obviously is stemming from the three women at each other's throats, as Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, and Liv Morgan all were just besides themselves after Roxanne lost her match yesterday to Bailey. What do you make of this? And I mean, it feels like we've been talking about this for over a year, but do you think that the Judgment Day is finally going to be setting up to be falling apart? Or are we just going to see a lightening of the load, as it were, as they shave off some of the members and regroup as they normally do?
I consider the whole thing lazy booking and an easy way out for the writers of Judgment Day. You know, they've done everything that they possibly could do with that group. Titles and faction wars and interpersonal stuff. It's time. Judgment Day has run its course. Revamp it, rebrand it, call it something else. You know, let Finn Balor and JD strike out on their own and maybe link up with AJ for a run before it's all said and done. You know, there's a lot that you could do right now with that situation. You know, you just can't look at it as, oh, well, Judgment Day's ending and it had a good run. No, it could still work, but I just feel like the booking has gotten lazy, and the easiest way out is all the women are fighting.
Yeah, and I think you're right with that. You know, just a week or two ago when Liv came back, it looked like it was a resurgence. They looked like they were, you know, interrupting altogether, and they looked like, okay, we're gonna get 2.0 of this. And then last night, it just made me scratch my head. I was like, what? Like, we just came from this to this with less than a week or two? I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, it was taking the easy way out for my taste as far as what's going on here. And I think maybe they just, all right, they hit a creative wall for the last time that they just can't get over with this faction. And it's time for them to go on their own separate ways, which I think will really suck because Raquel is Big Mommy Cool. I think she should kind of have some kind of de facto run as the shot caller of Judgment Day in some aspect because she's very assertive and her personality is, you know, very boss-like when she's asserting herself.
Mm-hmm. No, and honestly, you're right on that one, but I feel like if they're going to move apart from all of this, it's just going to be better off for all of them if they just blow it up and everybody starts anew, or maybe they just continue on with Roxanne and Raquel being a tag team and they kind of
definitely
build whatever they want to build together. I don't know. Because really, when you look at each member of Judgment Day right now, they're all fantastic in their own right and can go solo. You really don't need any of them to stay together at all. They're all fantastic talents, but blowing up a faction that's arguably been the WWE's most popular one for the past, since it's really been made. I would say that even in Edge's time, it was that popular. So it'd be really, really far-fetched of me to think that they would actually throw all of this away just because they don't have any story for it. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago as being the WWE's version of the Bullet Club. I mean, and honestly, I think you could keep that going if you really wanted to. Thoughts? Or did we lose them?
I really feel like I agree with you entirely as far as WWE's version of the Bullet Club. But I feel like also now would be a great time for them to split them if they're going to, seeing as how Dominic just suffered a real injury that we don't know about, and we don't know if it's real, at a AAA show this weekend. So in a spot with his dad, Rey Mysterio, which sounds almost too convenient to be storyline.
Right.
At the same time, El Grande Americano having the biggest face turn in AAA history by showing Rey Mysterio and the other luchadors Dragon Lee respect by shaking their hand at the end of their match in a loss to Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, where Dominic supposedly, quote unquote, suffered this real life shoulder injury. So why not just ride everybody off in different directions and see how it goes in 2026?
I would hate for that to be a real injury and have Dom's run be
Okay.
uprooted by that, though. Like, because again, I get that it writes itself for a storyline later on that obviously we were planning on getting at some point regardless, but to have his AAA mega championship run ended by an injury would suck.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And what was your thoughts with the now we got our next setup with Gunther and it looks like CM Punk. I don't know how that's going to mix in with what I thought we already had with CM Punk and Breaker, but now it looks like they're starting to set up this story.
I would say yes and no to that degree. We've already seen CM Punk and Gunther go at it once before. I think really this was them still checking the temperature on Gunther's heat. With everyone who he came in contact with, you notice that the smug, overconfident, apparent just, stuck-up nature of his character is really bleeding through very hard at this time. To rub it in those people and those fans' faces that, yeah, I killed your Superman. I took out John Cena. Now I'm the greatest. Whereas it's not being respectful about it is one thing, but just being an a-hole about it is really pissing people off to the degree that it's drawing interest. Now, is the laser going to be focused on CM Punk in the future, AJ Styles, a returning Chris Jericho, so to speak, if he signs and reappears in the Rumble? We don't know. We just know that whoever is fed to Gunther, if they're not on their way out, will feel like they're on their way out.
Right. And I feel like that's kind of what they're building right now with just his interactions with all of the legends. Like we saw it last night.
All you're seeing is legends confront him.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we've talked about this since the last match of John Cena and how they're really just gearing him up to be a career killer. Do you think there's a universe where literally we get nothing but Gunther taking out all of the legends until they're all gone?
Ooh, very Thanos-like and interesting, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some legends still lingering about, maybe young legends, but all the serious guys, I think the last person that's going to be standing, if we're going to start just retiring out these guys in the next 2 years, and we're talking AJ Styles, we're talking the Chris Jerichos, anybody else up there that I'm failing to mention until I get to Randall Keith Orton. I would really feel like Randy Orton's going to be the last guy standing when it comes to that class.
I mean, there's a long list if you really want to get into it, because there's the Ortons, there's Mysterio, there's Brock,
there's Roman, there's Punk at some point.
Yeah,
what I mean,
those guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's. I hope this isn't what we're going to get eventually, because I mean, don't get me wrong, although it would probably be one of the greatest professional wrestling careers of all time. My God, would it just become brutal after a while just to watch this man chop each and every one of these men into retirement. It really would.
Chop sleeper.
That's all we would get the entire way.
And we're going to start calling him old Sleepy Chop.
I mean, again, the listeners have heard me talk about it ad nauseum, so let's not get into it any further. But at this point, it's just, I don't know. That's what people want, apparently.
When are we gonna get Charlotte Flair and
Jade Cargill?
Yeah.
I think we get Rhea and Cargill before we get Charlotte and Cargill.
See, I want Charlotte and Rhea as well.
Yes, run that back.
I think that's coming soon. But I mean, I love them all. But these the ones with the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea, and it's just getting old, man.
I think they want to run that just to put the tag belts back on Rhea and Io for a little bit. and then they're going to immediately jump back off of it and then have them go back into singles
Go
contention.
with Charlotte.
Well, because they're
I really hope WWE gets tired of this rinse and repeat booking that we've been seeing over the last few months when it comes to certain talent in the divisions. And this is an example of it. They could easily switch and change this up. But, the back and forth, the hot potatoing between the same champions, whether it's the Kabuki Warriors, whether it's, Alexa and Charlotte, it's starting to run its course. They're going to have to really switch things up here or introduce some new women to the division ASAP, which I think we're on the cusp of.
I agree. I think there's a lot of women in that NXT locker room that deserve a call up, just as many as there are men that deserve a call up.
Most definitely.
But I mean, how the WWE works with this. It's never really a massive wave of them that come at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now
they trickle them in.
That could change, but I don't see a universe where we see like Sol Ruka, Kalani, Jordan Grace, Miss Parker, all these women coming in at the exact same time. It's very unlikely. We just got Lash in here. They're going to give Lash some time to really shine. Then maybe we get Jordan. Then maybe we get, I don't know, JC Jane, even though I don't want to see it. There's going to be a long list of women that probably make their appearances, though. You're absolutely right. Onto the main roster in the next year. Who's your most likely, or who are you more excited to see is more what I should be saying.
Between the two of Jordan Grace and Jada Parker, right there for you.
I did it. See, I think that's an easy answer as well as Jada Parker.
When you watch NXT, it's like you could easily go with Kalani Jordan. You could easily go with Blake Monroe down there right now with all the controversy that's going on with Thea Hale, and the Women's North American title. It's right now NXT has the goods when it comes to the women's division. They have probably the most athletic and talented roster of women ready for the call-up than I've ever seen in the last 5 years between any of the companies, AEW, New Japan, AAA, or WWE.
Right. Well, since you already brought it up real quick, I didn't get your thoughts on that last week, but what were your thoughts on the whole not botched Thea Hale, title change that happened a couple weeks ago?
This is a pure example of, hey, folks, just because the script is scripted doesn't mean the moves aren't real. She got the wind knocked clear out of her from sternum to tail, top to bottom, and was literally almost paralyzed. Not in the sense of, oh, my God, medical, somebody get her an ENT. But if you've ever had the wind knocked out of you, you can't move.
Yeah, but she got her
Your
arm
brain
up.
stops working. There's no oxygen going there. So, she was slow to react. The ref did what they were told to do. And we had a good old-fashioned, on-the-fly, pivoting botch, which, NXT does tapings. These things changed a lot. So now, I don't know if you heard about that, with talent leaving early, they are forbade to leave early until the completion of set taping is done. Yes. So when things happen and you need to get back in the ring and all this, I hate to reveal something for people that didn't know out there in wrestling land, but yeah, pre-tapes, those talents aren't allowed to leave early anymore. And apparently they've been leaving and, in order to get home for the holidays and sent television and the writing crew into a scramble. So we'll see how these things go. But, hey, congratulations to Thea Hale, And I'm pretty sure this would work great in the aspect of storyline contention for Jordan Grace, who's been showing a lot of frustration lately on getting her comeuppance. I would love to see something about them turning this into an angle for Jordan Grace. She can't believe Thea Hale won a title before she did, type of thing. It would make great for whatever Shawn Michaels is cooking down there because, man, they've got the menu.
Well, and obviously that is probably the route they'll have to go because they have to somehow tie this into a storyline to make it sound or make sense, really, because that entire move, I mean, for those who didn't get to watch it, there was a championship match between Blake Monroe and Thea Hale where Thea went and did a springboard, just fallback tombstone drop on somebody and landed right on the sternum, knocking the wind out, as KG said, of the champion. Personally, I thought Blake got her arm up just at the right time at the end. The ref just didn't see it, but it is what it is, and we had to change titles because of it. The entire change of policy, though, does that really help anybody? Like, I mean, unless you really just decide to cut out that entire match and rerun it again, I don't know if there's really going to be an instance where you can throw two wrestlers out there at the same time. And I get that it's pre-taped sometimes, so you can cut it and move it into a different area of the show. But are they really just planning on rerunning matches if they don't go the correct way? Or are they just going to teach these people, these wrestlers that, hey, this happens sometimes in the industry. We have to kind of live with it. You know what I mean? That's what Shawn Michaels' message was. They don't blame anybody for it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So why not just sit there and say that's life?
This is easily recoverable because that, much like the men's U.S. title open, the Open Challenge, the women's North American title works like that as well in NXT. So this could be an easy just, scrub out and redo with Blake Monroe going for her rematch. And they just pick right back up where it left off.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the only place you can go with it, I suppose. And then real quick before we let you go, because we're running out of time, I know you saw it just as and I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, but Ricky Saints showing up at Reality of Wrestling and starting something with Zilla Fatu. Do you think this is the WWE finally telling Zilla we're giving you a shot?
I would hope so. More deserved than anybody in the underground right now. And, timing is everything. And there were times where I thought maybe too late, but I guess with WWE, never say never. I hope this is his time. It's perfect for him to be brought up as the uncrowned prince of the Anoa'i dynasty. It is how his father, Eki Umaga, is so highly revered by everybody in the industry. I think it would be perfect for him to kind of start getting his feet into WWE. And coinciding with the timing of Jacob Fatu's return.
So do you think that maybe we see him leapfrog over NXT and go straight to main roster and join Jacob?
That's rare these days. But hey, as they said in a McDonald's commercial in the 90s, hey, it could happen.
I don't know if I know that one, to be completely honest with you. That one might have been too deep of a reach for me, my friend. I have no clue where you got that one. No clue where that one came from. Usually I can ride with you, but
that was a weak sell, KG.
I can't. I got nothing on that one. Sorry, my brother.
Sparky knows what I'm talking about, man.
I'm loving it.
We definitely ain't loving it. Nope. Real quick, too. I'm sorry. We got like 2 or 3 minutes. I already said this to you, and we talked about it off air. AEW absolutely running the table on all of the wrestling awards for the Sports Illustrated 2025 award ceremony. A lot of people say it is warranted. AEW has outplayed the WWE throughout this year in terms of booking. What say you?
Oh, man. Certain things I'd say sound legit, maybe, but seeing as how it's AEW and Tony Khan, Sports Illustrated, I almost want to quote Rick Ross on his episode of AEW and say allegations, shenanigans, false statements. This seems bought and paid for. How can you say heel turn of the year is such and such anywhere else other than John Cena?
That's fair.
How can you say Matt feud of the year is just because it dropped copious amounts of blood is anybody in AEW other than what we've seen with Seth Rollins and CM Punk or Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes? WWE develops the superior storyline. Yes. AEW sometimes delivers a more athletic match. It doesn't have to have sense. It doesn't have to have a storyline. Sometimes you just tune in and catch a banger of a match. This is where the degrees in separation must be spoken on. You know, I really feel like Sports Illustrated showed that they are corruptible. There's no way, and I've been watching, that AEW should have taken the place of, let's say, female wrestler of the year. That should have been Becky Lynch again. I'm going to keep it real. Becky Lynch elevated more people than Sasha Banks, Monique Monet, whatever she is, has ever done and will ever do in the position she's in, rather than holding 13 titles from independent federations all over the world and not elevating their champions when dropping it back to them.
And honestly,
And that punch last night, man, I gotta give it to her, dude. That was
Come on,
that
man.
was ruthless.
Look what she's given to Maxine Dupree. She's given her the rub.
I just hope next
Becky-
year she could get some title shots
finally.
you know, and stop doing all this babysitting.
Yeah. You know, she deserves one more run with that women's championship before it's all said and done, because even the good old Baxter is coming up on the end of her tenure in WWE, and I would like to see her stick around, but as you can tell, she's getting that family bug. I see rumors online of her after this contract, of her and Seth, you know, trying to have another kid, and that's good for them. You know, they've given a lot to this company. And over time, you see the wear and tear that it's taken on Seth Rollins' body.
Oh yeah, and Seth's talking a lot about doing more sports, get into more sportscasting, which he's killer at.
Yeah, I think he's got about maybe 3 more years left, injury free, if he can stay healthy. You know, because that man, he ruptured every joint and tendon in his body for the sake of this company, man. And you know, the only reason I'd say feud of the year didn't go to CM Punk and Seth Rollins is because we had to top that whole feud off with him blowing out his shoulder.
Yeah. Nah, and the injuries and all of that really come from it, regardless, on both sides. And it has derailed the entire momentum that they had throughout the year at times. So I get that. But I don't know. When I saw the lineup of winners for this year's Wrestling Awards of the Year for Sports Illustrated, I was shocked at how many were AEW. I know they had a fantastic year, don't get me wrong. And it's going to be culminated by a Fatal 4 matchup that's going to be so much fun to watch. I will not deny that one. But to see a lot of those matches, or a lot of those awards, I'm sorry, go to other people, I'm shook. I expected it to at least be a little 50-50, if not, 60-40 AEW, but I had to get your thoughts on that before we let you go. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Sorry for the the streaming issues. Hopefully we'll have that figured out by next week, and we could talk more wrestling with you before the new year's over.
Most definitely, man. You guys take care. Happy holidays. I'll see you guys next week.
Happy holidays, my friend. Let's take a break, and we will get to our last segment of the day on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. look at that. Right. Oh my God. Oh, they got the exclamation point. Horrible. I'd love this song. I'm sorry. Better than Mariah Carey.
No way.
Oh, it is so much better than Mariah. I'm sorry. That's the one Christmas song. Well, no, actually, that's not true. There are a handful of Christmas
There's
songs
a lot.
now I don't mess with, but they're for different reasons. Mariah, I don't mess with just because. God,
Mariah,
no. Ew,
It's
no.
Mariah.
Ugh, no. Team Nick Cannon. Team Nick
See,
Cannon all day.
I knew her before he was even
I know.
born.
I know. It is what it is.
Or
But
the 15 kids.
I'm not a fan. I'm just, no. That song gets in my head every single year. And I'm like, ugh. For a whole day, I'm just caught myself shivering just because I can't believe I have to listen to this garbage again. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special. Not garbage here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. I want to thank our guests of the day, Mr. Boydston, for coming in here. KG as well, having to call in instead of doing his usual video stream. And we will get hopefully back to that next week ahead of the new year. And of course, our guy Rob Chavez coming in and talking things USC Notre Dame after the 100-year long rivalry will be put on hold for the next couple of seasons, or at least the foreseeable future, until potentially 2030. A year that doesn't even sound legit, Sparky, even though it's 5 years away. 2030. Ugh.
I was reading a tweet from good old 50 Cent
50. What did 50 do now?
saying he was sorry for all Stranger Things fans that they dethroned his documentary on Diddy.
Aww.
Dethroned Stranger Things. He said, but it's not my fault. Diddy did stranger things. But they I don't think it'll last much longer because with the 3 episodes coming out the day after tomorrow.
Yep. Plus the 2 finales coming out on, or the 2-part finale coming out on New Year's Day.
1 part.
It's only 1?
It's
Because I
just
hear
2
it's
hours
supposed to be
long.
2.
It's just 1 movie.
Cool. Okay.
1 2-hour movie where they're already selling tickets to the movie theaters, which I might have to pick up.
Honestly, let me know if you go, because I may go with you. This entire show kind of needs to be seen on a big screen theater. I would not. I don't know if it would be bad to say that you'd be missing out if you don't go see this in a theater, but something tells me that we need to see this in a theater. There's going to be some big twist that is going to just make this so much better. And as an anime
something crazy is
fan,
going to have to happen.
Oh yeah,
for it to be able to end.
Well, did you see what the brothers did on Fallon's show? Fallon set up a whole bunch of pop dolls of all the characters and said, "Can you give us a sneak peek of what the finale looks like?" And he even put what's her name that died in the first season?
Barbara.
Barbara was there, and he was like, "Why the heck is she here? She's been gone for years." And like they threw her down on the floor. But there was something that made me very, very concerned, which is how they ended it, which is Steve getting knocked off an edge.
Yeah, I saw.
Not very happy about that.
A big feud of fans saying, "Please don't kill Steve."
I mean,
and I've heard some people saying that they think Barb is going to save the day at the end. So it could be anything.
Everybody has their own rumors and theories of how this show is going to end, and that's what makes television so great, is that we get to figure it out together.
And the majority is really going back to Eddie's game.
Yes, yeah, how the D&D game ended in season 3.
Was it
4?
3 or 4? Yeah, where they were playing D&D, and it all went in where they were fighting for Vecna in the game. So maybe that's somehow it's just gonna be crazy once it's over.
And
then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Then what are we going to obsess over on television for the next 5 years until something comes out that's Stranger Things related? And we'll be talking all things entertainment with our new entertainment helper, Mr. Rick Bentley. I don't know if he's going to be a weekly segment or just every so often when we can call him up and see if he's got time for us, kind of a segment. But we'll be talking entertainment with one of the best here very, very soon. And hopefully he'll have some answers to what's coming next after all of this Stranger Things stuff. And honestly, I'm a massive Marvel fan, so this entire Doomsday trailer release thing that they're doing, I need to know what's coming next, man. I keep hearing that a Thor trailer got leaked. I haven't seen. I mean, there are trailers that are supposed to be coming out of Loki and of all of the different groups and what they're doing and how it all comes together. This is going to be huge, man. I think every Marvel hater that's been sitting there saying they haven't had a good movie since Infinity War, Doomsday about to blow everything up. Every bit of it. And you get all of your favorite heroes back too, including Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., who I believe both will be bad guys in this movie, but it is what it is.
And people keep sending me the fake trailers. I'm so sick of AI and these fake trailers. I'm like, I don't even want to watch the trailers. I think somebody told me that there is a tease in Avatar in the trailer. So now I was already gonna go see Avatar, but now give me another reason. I know a lot of people, you're either with it or you're not. I can say the same thing with Stranger Things. People say, it took too long. I lost all,
Honestly, I feel that way about Avatar. Like, if you had given me these sequels 10 years ago, whenever the heck this actually started, and actually it was more than 10 years ago, but like I would have probably been all in for all of these sequels saying, heck yeah, let's continue this series. But you gave me these sequels way too late. And I get it. You wanted, higher CGI. You wanted to have the right look for your movie. Totally understand that. But no, like this is just way too late for me to continue saying I've been waiting for this. No.
Yeah, I've got family members that feel the same way about Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 8 years old when it came out. I was all in it. And now, I don't have any interest. So, and he's into the anime world. So,
and I'd love to sit down and talk with Mr. Bentley rather and ask what his thoughts are on that, because it seems like a lot of franchises do that. I mean, we're getting a lot of the Avatar: The Last Airbender fans that are saying the exact same thing about their series. Like, you took way too long to give us this second season, and now Aang looks like he's in college when he's supposed to be a child. I mean, it doesn't work. I know that you have to pool the money for all this, and all these actors are busy and all that type of stuff, but maybe we need to or find a way to create all of it at the same time. Have one long film session, and then you can break it up and release it as you need to. The only problem with that is that the likelihood of leaks and, people who used to work for the film critic or I'm sorry, for the filmmaker or something like that getting fired, and then they want to get back at the film critic by, releasing the whole movie for the fans. And yeah, so there's always going to be that kind of a threat. But personally, I think that that's probably the best route to go, especially with a lot of these shows that have to wait 4, 5, 6 years to give us another season. I mean, I'm an anime fan. I've been sitting here waiting for a Black Clover season 2 for God knows how long. And I'm barely getting it this year. I know most of you don't get it. But
jam-packed show tomorrow. We've got the owner of the Well Comedy Club, Dan Betts, joining us, as well as Ryan Holt.
And potentially Bolt Brady. I'm still waiting to hear back if he's available at 7:30. But if he is, he'll give you his picks of the week. We'll give you ours as well. And if you're in your fantasy football playoff final, we'll try to give you our final waiver wire the year. Hopefully help you win some money in that area as well. But until then, thank you for joining us. Join us back here tomorrow, 7 to 9 as always. Here comes the legendary Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.